What's up? Welcome to the show. This is That's Enough. He's Steve Hofstetter. I'm Mike Janella. Every week we pick the stories we can stop talking about already in the sports world, and we keep it under 15 minutes. Steve, hit me. What do you got this week?
Oh, sorry. I'm just creating a hostile work environment because that is what fans do sometimes. My thing is booing your own team when they're in a slump is ridiculous. Booing your own team, your own players, whatever it is, that is not the way to get it turned around. There is no human being in the world that has, 10,000 people yelling at them that goes, you know what? That's going to make me change my ways. It's stupid.
So we've seen this already, like at the beginning of baseball season, plenty. And baseball is the best because it's a 162 game season. And if you start the year in a 3-game slump, then you're going to hear about it, even though you have to look at the Mets last year, right? From 0-5 to NLCS. Not to be biased or anything here, but all right. So my counterpoint to you is that
Okay.
how else do you hold these athletes accountable as a fan? You could say, "Oh, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to buy their T-shirts." Like the athlete's not seeing that. So if I'm struggling, maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I'm not putting in the time shooting in the gym or in the batting cage. How else is a fan supposed to let their own player know that, hey, we're not happy with what's going on here?
Well, first of all, I would argue that 99% of the time, it's not the player not putting enough work in. Every now and then, that does happen. But for the most part, all of these games ebb and flow. No one, not even the greatest players of all time, were always great. They will have a week off. They will be hurt a little bit. They will have stuff going on in their lives that, like, these are human beings. And the idea that someone thinks that showing up to one game and booing someone and telling them they suck is suddenly going to help is ridiculous. We saw what happened with Trey Turner. All right. And you want to talk bias. I know we're both Mets fans, but the Phillies fans did this correctly. The Phillies fans, the same people who throw batteries, the same people who boo Santa Claus, figured it out and realized that, like, if they actually get behind someone, that can make a difference. Not only are these people, and I understand you go, oh, well, they're professional athletes. Most of them are very young. And, like, do you have everything figured out, know how to get motivated at work when you were 23 years old? Absolutely not.
That we do
And
lose sight of. Especially as I'm getting older and we're kind of about the same age, like late 30s, early 40s. We forget that we could be the fathers of a lot of these kids. Like, some guys in baseball are just turning 21 this season. Like, I could literally be their dad. And yeah, other people our age are showing up and booing and screaming and cursing at, like you said, these kids. I didn't have my life figured out till I still don't. My wife would argue, but like, yeah, when I was 28, 29, I still didn't feel like I had my shit together at work. So I get what you're saying there.
yeah, I just think it's not good management. It's not good. Like, every every fan thinks that, oh, I could run this team better than this manager can. And yet some of you want to create a hostile work environment, and, like, no one thrives in that ever. So when you look at teams that are full of talent that can't seem to get it done on the field, it's because there's something wrong with the intangibles. There's something, they're fighting in the locker room, they don't like each other, they're not listening to the manager or the coach or whoever it is. And so why are we trying to do that as fans? I simply don't understand it. Boo the hell out
So
of the opposing team, but not your
sure,
guy.
yeah. So, so what do you propose as an alternative? Say your favorite player. Let's just stick with baseball because we're in baseball season. Favorite
Yeah.
player is in a 1 for 27 slump, whatever. Or basketball. It's an off night. A guy hasn't hit a shot in 15 minutes on the floor. Just stay silent. Cheer
No, I mean,
them.
you can be
Like, will they
frustrated.
think
You
it's
can be like,
ironic that you're cheering them when they're struggling? Like, what do
you
you
could,
do?
you could look, you could be frustrated. You could, oh, come on. Like, you can, I mean, that's human emotion. But actually, I will say the most fun I've ever had at a baseball game, other than my team, like watching teams that don't matter to me.
As a neutral, yeah.
Yeah, I went to a Tigers game when they were fighting for the record of the worst team ever.
Mm.
and sarcastically cheering was so much fun. The just yelling out like, "Yeah, you hit it out of the infield. Good for you." Just on like a short pop up to center. Like that was a ton of fun, and like the crowd got into it in a way. Like I ended up leading a lot of people doing that because it was something to cheer for. And sports are supposed to be fun. They're always supposed to be fun. They're not supposed to make you angry. They're not supposed to ruin your day. And so find a way to keep it fun, but also remember that these are human beings.
Yeah, and then you alluded to Trey Turner before. They turned that into a Netflix documentary and how that turned the Phillies season around. The fans giving him that standing ovation, when he was struggling back in 23. I do wonder in certain markets if that could be seen by the player, like the Bronx cheer, like, oh, they're treating me ironically, like they're just really kicking me when I'm down. But to your point, if it's coming from a genuine, like earnest place, still think there is a place for booing in sports of your own team. If there is a perceived, guy doesn't run a ball out to first base and he could have
Yeah.
been safe, and he's not like, when there's a reason to boo, I still think that's the fans' easiest and quickest way to express their thoughts and their displeasure of what's going on. But I do agree that you're booing on top of, like, these guys know they're struggling, right? They know that they're
Yeah.
having a rough night at the dish or at the free throw line or whatever. Your booze on top of booze is not going to make them do any better. So I guess I at
Yeah.
least agree with you there.
I agree with you that like if a player's not showing hustle, if a player has done something off the court, if they're, or like
Yeah.
off field or whatever, like there
Yeah.
are
You
plenty
can
of
boo
reasons.
Deshaun. You can boo Deshaun Watson if you're a Browns fan. Like, that's okay.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
there are reasons to boo, but the idea of booing just because someone's in a slump, that doesn't make the slump shorter. That will never make the slump shorter.
I'd be curious. The next time I get to chat with a player, and you cross paths with some pro guys too, if they like, at what point do they even let that into their head? Because a lot of times these guys just block out the crowd anyway. But we'll have
Yeah.
to bring this up with somebody. Maybe get someone on the show one day. All right. I've got something. Speaking of people expressing their displeasure, that I've had enough of this week. But first, it's time for not an ad from someone who doesn't sponsor us. And today we have Subway. Subway, our sandwiches taste the same whether they're made in a gas station or not because they always taste like they're made in a gas station. That wasn't an ad, but it could be. Reach out to us at That's Enough Show on social. You came up with that one, but I actually kind of like Subway sandwiches. I'm a Subway stan. I like their stuff, even though I know it's not Michelin star quality, but I'm
I
not complaining.
I find I find Subway to be, and by the way, I do like I like Jimmy John's, I like Jersey Mike's. I'm a sandwich guy for sure, but I find Subway to just be so deliriously marginal. Subway is, and by the way, this is totally going to get them to sponsor us.
Oh, for
Subway
sure.
is like, you ever have a friend who's in one of those like 5-year on again off again relationships just because they
Yep.
settle?
Yep.
That is Subway. That person is the Subway tuna sandwich of relationships. That's who that is.
The tuna, that used to be my thing, like in my early 20s with the tuna. Then you realize it has like 1,300 calories because of all the mayo, and it's not even that great. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yeah, before we get a cease and desist from the good folks at Subway, I do love Subway, by the way, for the record. I just want to put that out there. I'm curious your take here because you deal with this on a nightly basis when you're touring. Trolls.
Yes.
I've had enough of trolls. I get them online. You get them in person. I'm not a stand-up, but these trolls that aren't even original anymore. To that, I say, like, I've had enough. So earlier this spring, and I was saving it till we started running the show to talk to you about it. There's this clip of me and Wally Backman. If you're not familiar, just Google it, from like 15 years ago, where he came up to the press box and thought I'd said something about him on the radio. I didn't, but we got into like a verbal altercation. And this video of it, because a documentary crew was filming behind the scenes at the time, pops up on TikTok or Instagram every like 6 months from some baseball meme account. And I just get people tagging me, mostly these like wannabe alpha males that really aren't, who like listen to Andrew Tate and stuff like that. And they'll just say generic stuff like, tagging me, what a cuck. You look like such a child molester. I bet you didn't have any parents who loved you growing up. Like, just this stuff that's not even original or creative.
Yeah.
And it's almost so laughable that it's not insulting. It just makes me laugh. And they're like, oh, I bet like you're probably like a virgin, no girl ever talks to you. Meanwhile, I have like a beautiful wife who's the mother of my child. I have a very loving family, like a very stable career. So I just want to say, if you're going to actually come after me, at least put in some effort.
Yeah.
And I do give credit to the people who, like, there were some people in this most recent round that reached out to me and being like, that guy won a World Series for the Mets. All you are is like a glorified mascot who does, trivia contests between innings, wishing he could be on the field at Mets games. And I'm like, damn, okay, at least you're coming after me for maybe my perceived, lack of success or contentment in my career. So if you're going to do a troll job, at least put some effort into it. Do you agree, or would you rather people not put the effort so that you don't have to worry about it? Because you're great, like you're famous for this, like taking down hecklers and stuff. So how have you gotten to this point of it in your career?
Well, I very much agree with you that trolls, for the most part, are, and it is weird that we have changed the meaning of what trolling is, because trolling used to be poking someone knowing full well you were just messing with them. Like that's what trolling was supposed to be. And it's a hilarious idea. And now it's more of the I live under a bridge type person.
Right.
It's
just being a mean, being an asshole, basically.
exactly. First of all, every accusation is a confession. Like with all of these people are like, oh, I bet you can't get laid. And it's like, have you seen my wife? She is gorgeous. So stop it. But also I am fine with someone insulting me creatively. And now this is not a challenge to people who don't actually want to and just want to do it for, I mean, every couple years it changes. It was cuck for a long time. Then it became snowflake. And I forget, like, there have been a couple of other iterations of it. It is funny to me when someone uses one from like 15 years ago. Like cuck was over a decade ago. And people still occasionally will be like, but that's a thing that someone said to me once and it hurt my feelings, so I'm going to try to use it to hurt your feelings. And it's just stupid. Also, for anyone to get on you about fighting with Wally Backman has fought with everyone. The reason Wally Backman was traded away from the Mets was because they were tired of him being the team coke dealer. Like Wally Backman he was a good minor league manager who never got a shake in the majors because he was such a nightmare to deal with. And you have every right to fight with Wally Backman. Anyone has any right to fight with Wally Backman. But to get back to your original point, I just think that if you're going to try to insult someone, do it with something insulting.
And part of me is afraid that I've opened Pandora's box now because, as you know, now these people that do want to say something mean to me will find something that hits a nerve that I am self-conscious about, and I have to pretend that it doesn't. And I've just given them, the worst advice I can on how to really come at me for Achilles' heels. But it's just like you feel bad for most of these people, and I'm not stating anything that's not obvious, but if you feel the need to go after someone, especially someone like me that you've never met, at least someone that goes to one of your shows in person, they feel like they have some social contract, they bought a ticket or whatever, but you don't know me from Adam, and you're making these accusations just in general about me or my background without knowing me. I've had enough of that. Like I said, up your game. And better yet, just don't say anything. It's that old, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I didn't come say anything about you that's provoked you. So what are you doing to me? And we're just about out of time, so you can wrap quickly.
Yeah, they get provoked by someone other than themselves getting attention. It's as simple as that.
Right. Or like you said, accusations are confessions, right? I love that line a lot.
Yeah.
It's something that they're feeling weird about. They see someone else having something they don't or that they can't have, and it is what it is. All right. Be nice in general is pretty much all we're saying here. And whether that's the players who are struggling or to your fellow online person. Steve, talk to you next time, man.
Sounds good, Mike.
All right. This was That's Enough. Thanks for listening. Catch us on socials at That's Enough Show, and we'll see you next time.